Hi, everyone. Welcome to another week in another episode of the Point of Disorder podcast. I'm Adrian.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Gina.
Well, again, we've made it another week. I really need to get my countdown clock going again. I would love to hear from you guys. What's brought you joy this week before we get into this shit show, this shit parade we're about to get into?
Oh, gosh. I mean, just knowing that the school year is almost done and I don't have to make lunches.
I hate
or
making
like
lunches.
do like the super fun morning scramble where I yell at my kids for 30 minutes to get out of bed. Like the thought of having like a 3-month break from that is giving me joy right now.
And then you'll be super fucking ready for them to go back when it gets into August. And you're like, I need a routine again. I need these fucking kids out of my house. That's how I feel. I love my kids, but get out.
I like the summer.
Okay.
I like not having to get up early.
Yeah,
That's
that's
really
helpful.
what it's all about for me.
I was going to say, you don't know Gina that well if you think that that's going to know. She loves it. I love the summer too because of the weather, but I also love the fact that, you know, the roads get better when it comes to, and I don't mean better as in they're in better shape. I mean, there's less people on them.
Because they're not driving their kids to school.
Yeah, and all that shit. And everyone goes up north and it's like, yay, go away, people, leave me alone.
I mean, I like get up early because I lie awake with existential crisis every morning. So I can tell you what definitely has brought me some joy this week. And
I thought that was just my perimenopause.
it's that.
Okay.
It's the state of the world. It's all of the things. But I have to say that what's brought me joy this week are the different TikToks that Gina has been sending us from the thirst traps of the national parks. Okay.
National Park Talk is literally giving me life for the last few weeks. So in case people don't know what's going on, as soon as the national parks were defunded, they were like, well, we need to find a new way. I guess they all monetized their TikToks.
Yes.
And they are now making complete thirst trap videos. And they're trying to like one up each other. And it's all very sexual right now on National Park Talk.
I have to do like a little bit of the fanning of myself. I have to make sure my son and my daughter are not in the room because some of the songs that they use to open these up, I'm like there's cock, motherfucker, like fuck me real good. This is our national parks and I can't deal.
But the
it's
funny
so good.
thing about it, I know it's for like the money here, but like Australia has entered the chat.
Yes.
There are
Yes.
actual national parks around the world.
Around the world.
Banff.
Yes.
Yes.
Banff is in on it. You know, even local parks are like, hey, how do we get involved? And then it'll be a guy like sitting on a giant log, moving erotically on it for some reason. And
Chopping wood.
I love how like the parks are just, they're totally unhinged right now.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I'm super here for
like,
it.
show me the geysers to the Cardi B music.
The
I'm down.
sperm
Like,
whales.
yes.
I can't even. It's so great. I know you guys have been super busy and definitely want to get into that with you about what your weekend entailed. We have a lot to get through today. We have pages and pages in our notes, and I'm not a subject matter expert in all of this shit, but I am a subject matter expert in liberal outrage. So let's get right into it.
I have a trigger warning, okay? If you are a sycophant, I'm going to stop you right here. This episode ain't for you.
This show ain't for you.
I would recommend perhaps turning to the national parks TikToks. That might entertain you for the next hour or so. But yes, go on.
Go listen to the
okay.
New York Times.
I've got my trigger warning out of the way. So I begged Julie to join me at a luncheon this weekend, and she...
It was literally begging people. I just want to point out.
I am full disclosure. I begged Julie to join me at this luncheon because it was a Michigan Democratic Party Women's Caucus luncheon. These things are all the same all the time. So I needed my mate to come and help me laugh my way through this thing because they're very dry, right? It's just everyone getting up, telling a speech, and then you get some awful lunch that you know. I was going to tell you, Julie, not to eat the lunch, and I forgot to. And like,
Eat before you come.
Julie's
Bring something
GI
in your purse.
system is too bougie to handle catered chicken that we don't know the provenance of. Okay, so this, I mean, I'm sorry.
It meant for a very rough weekend.
Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing.
You know, so
Don't eat the chicken at the women's caucus luncheon.
there was diarrhea. And I have to say, I am stupid because this has happened to me before. That is not my first rodeo. It came out and it's
wanted
fucking
to
sitting there and I'm
remind you.
like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, this can't be that bad.
You gotta bring snacks in
How
your
bad?
purse.
Well, the
bread is always safe.
Bread is safe.
Bread is safe.
The first trigger that I got was I thought it was a Caesar salad with chicken, right? And I thought,
No.
I like a Caesar salad. Then I dig into it. It's got fucking olives in it.
No.
And sun-dried tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like, what sort of a Caesar salad has olives? Like, this salad doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know if it's Greek.
Savages.
It doesn't know if it's Mediterranean. It doesn't know if it's... Like, no idea. Anyway, it was a rough weekend. I had diarrhea, some near misses, and it all culminated in a family birthday. I spoke to my sister. She said, is your tummy better now? And I said, how did you know I had a bad tummy? And she said, well, Pat told us, Mum told us.
And now you're
At a
telling
birthday
everyone.
Birthday dinner.
Now everyone
She
knows.
told the whole family
Oh,
that
no.
Julie had diarrhea from a cheap lunch she went to, which was free. And no, there is no such thing as a free lunch. That is the absolute
That's the
bottom
moral
line.
of the story.
Clearly
here.
not. And it sounds like it wasn't a free lunch either because of who you had to listen to at the women's caucus. Let's just remind everyone the women's caucus luncheon.
Michigan Democratic Party Women's Caucus Luncheon chose a male keynote speaker.
I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. And it's like I'm sitting here going, is this a different, like, has everyone missed the memo that this is a women's caucus? Are we in the wrong place? Did I get the wrong Caesar salad?
Wrong salad, wrong chicken, wrong place, wrong speaker.
I just also want to point out that we paid to go. Like
You
I
paid
didn't-
for
we
this?
paid for this.
I did not. Gina did, so I had to. It wasn't
Are you
free lunch for me.
masochists? Have you heard of BDSM? Is this your
You
kink?
did pay a price, Julie.
Oh, well, my
so,
price
yeah.
was very high, Gina.
All right, so let me tell everybody who the speaker was. They flew in Ken Martin, who is the party chair, right? The Democratic National Convention party chair. Ken Martin, who was the former party chair of the Minnesota Democratic Party. Okay, so at least he's a Midwesterner. Yay. And at least he's from a state that pays fair wages. We'll get to that later. But it was weird because we're all sitting there and it's all the same people sitting up on stage taking turns. Like there was nothing new was said. There were no revelations. There was no admittance to any missteps, shall we say, in the last election. There were just fucking massive elephants in the room all over.
It was, I would say to you, how I described it when I got home was it was like I could have like got in a time capsule and gone back to 2024, 23. Like they were literally saying exactly the same thing.
They're basically pretending Biden's still president.
Well, they were just pretending that everything they've done is fine.
Okay.
And that's the way forward. And everyone's standing up and clapping. It was... I was just sitting there. My mind was blown the whole time about a number of things. But that was really clear to me. As you said, elephant in the room. We fucking lost. We've got to change the way we do things. But no one was up there talking about that.
No, I mean, Ken was very much touting his progressive chops and pretending like
His progressive chops.
he's got, a new path forward, but we didn't fucking hear anything.
Yeah, you don't have the blueprint on hand.
And besides all that, we're sitting there, and at one point he's getting a dig into the left flank of the party in the middle of his speech, and another woman I, told you have to come and sit at our table is the co-chair of the DSA, and she's like, what the fuck was that? Like, so let's just say that, Ken didn't bite off what he thought he could chew, because when the event was over, we went up to him and grabbed him for 5 minutes, and the conversation we had with him was likely not like anyone he's ever had with two white women before, because we fucking gave it to him. I was like, number one, this is all well and great. We're staring down the barrel of, basically our economy being completely wiped out by
and
these
the
tariffs.
dictatorship, Gina.
The dictatorship. 1 million kids in Michigan are about to lose health care. Like, what do you got for me? Because and he's, oh, well, we like fair wages. Okay.
You do?
You know what? Here in Michigan, our fucking Democrats voted down the fair wage bill. Can we talk about having standards in the party where, it's okay to primary Democrats who no longer embrace the values that are popular because they're the progressive ones, right? So
they're continually using these values and these, fair wages and looking after people, but then putting up bills or fighting down bills that get put up to actually, turn those values into actual law.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly you guys were able to, make your voices heard, which is great. Who knows if it's going to make any kind of difference?
Nobody can get me to shut up. People have been trying for years.
You have a podcast now.
And now I'm just a bigger fucking loudmouth than I was before.
And that's fantastic. But obviously what you guys were able to accomplish with Ken Martin over the weekend, like this is something that's very clearly been happening, and we've all been very clearly aware of it, especially when we're talking about U.S. Representative Jerry Connolly from Virginia.
Just a few, and to back up, let's just say this is the third House Republican this is the third House Democrat who's died this year.
Okay, rest in peace, right? Blessings.
Thoughts and prayers.
They're turning their seats over themselves now at this point.
Yeah, they're turning. Yeah, they're gonna just die right out of office instead. But I think what's interesting about Jerry, old Jer Bear here, is what happened with him and be the top Dem on the Oversight Committee.
Right. I mean, just a few months ago, we were having this conversation where AOC ran against him for that position in the Oversight Committee, which is like the top ranking position for House Democrats to be in. And Nancy Pelosi is behind the scenes pulling the strings for Jerry Connolly, who everybody knew had throat cancer at that time. It was, a well-known thing that this man is undergoing treatment. He's not well.
This was like 4 months ago.
But they were like, no, let's vote for him over the young progressive woman who's wildly popular right now.
I feel like the Democratic Party is just in love. And honestly, the Republicans are as well. So I'd say overall, the U.S. Congress, U.S. leadership in terms of politics is like an episode out of fucking Weekend at Bernie's. They're all literally sitting there dying at the desk.
No offense to Bernie Sanders.
I'm sorry about that, Bernie. I do love you, Bernie. But I'm just saying, It is very clear to me that is, they're all just sitting there. We'll talk about this later because I think this goes into a lot of things that we're going to talk about today.
I mean, they're being propped up. Essentially, literally propped up. And we were saying 3 of them have passed away in the last 4 months since the beginning of the latest term. That's something definitely to be thinking about. And, speaking of propping people up, we all learned this week that former President Biden has stage 4 cancer, prostate cancer that has spread to his bones, which is really obviously very sad. And, heartfelt things go out to his family. But prior to that, Jake Tapper from CNN had released a book, came out this week, and definitely fucking went after it hard on CNN plugging this book. And this is all the mainstream media seems to be wanting to pay attention to, is the book about the Biden administration.
They have been talking about this book for weeks on CNN, all while, Donald Trump is openly selling influence to, authoritarian regimes, the crypto scheme, MAGAs in Congress trying to pass this bill that will literally kill people. And it's still fucking roundtables on what do we know about Biden's health and when. And everyone fucking talking about this stupid book, which luckily just came out a few days ago. Amazon had to turn their comments off on
because people were so pissed.
Yeah.
I think there is a real conversation around this, though, to be had, right? Because clearly what happened in the Biden administration, it's not good. How it ended, and I feel really bad for them, having lost my dad recently. The legacy of those that you love and those that are fighting, it's really important, right? And you don't want that to be kind of like how they're remembered. So the fact that they've announced this, that he has prostate cancer, advanced cancer this week, as well as the Tapper book coming out at the same time, there's a real conversation to be had around that. I just don't think it's now. Right. And I kind of feel like maybe I sound like, all the Republicans after a mass shooting at a school. It's not the time to talk about it.
Right.
But I just think we should talk about the fact that there is no, when it comes to the presidency, and it feels like all like levels of high government here, there's a flaw. Like you can't run for president until you're 35 because they say that you're not cognitively able to handle the job, but they're very happy to have a fucking 80-year-old do it. You know, there's no ceiling. So it doesn't matter how old you are in terms of, we all know that we all watched last year or Gina didn't, but the debate with Biden and Trump and Jake Tapper.
With my head in my hands.
Yeah, Jake Tapper was one of with Dana Bash were basically the moderators. Now, I would say to you, the only person that performed worse on that stage that day was CNN via Jake Tapper and Dana Bash in terms of the bullshit that they let through. They did not do any fact-checking whatsoever. So as bad as Biden was, and Gina knows, as soon as I saw that, I was like, no, Biden, this man cannot run again. I was very clear on that, and we had internal debates about this. I was very, very firm on that. But Jake Tapper and Dana Bash were fucking terrible on that. So I just think there is a conversation about that, but just right now, there's too much happening. We're basically, we've got a gun to our head with fucking autocracy, dictatorship, the financial situation of this country. We're going down the toilet at a rate of knots. So it's not the time right now to be talking about that.
No, I mean, let's talk about journalistic integrity right now, okay? Mass cruelty in real time in front of our eyes, or, what happened in the last presidential term.
Correct.
Like, eye on the prize, people.
Right.
I have a little thought, if I can just share it. Is this, I always think that for new the next generation to come through, for things to really change, you've kind of got to burn shit down. Do you know what I mean? So is this the burn shit down moment? The stuff about Biden,
so.
The Jake Tapper book, him coming out in the debate around, well, is it like, did he know he had cancer? I mean, seriously, we're at stage 4.
Right.
And
Right.
okay. Like, there's a good chance he probably did know. They did know.
This particular type of cancer can come up and advance very quickly.
Yeah.
But the thing in his book, and why people are roasting him, is because they're like, oh, insiders had reported. None of that stuff was made public at the time. And you wait and put it all in a book. Like,
Right.
They always do that. Remember after Trump got out and they were talking about the shit he was doing in their books? They save it for books. These people, it's a capitalism with a fucking capital
Exactly.
C.
No
It's
journalism
ridiculous.
with any kind of integrity
No,
whatsoever.
it's just
Do
to
your
make money.
fucking job and report it when when we need to.
Enough of the fucking think pieces about Biden and the wrangling, and it's such an asymmetry, right? Because Trump mistakes countries, world leaders.
Oh, he's so addled it's not even fucking funny.
When he talks, I was saying last week, it sounds like he had a fucking stroke.
Yeah.
Is he okay?
He's addled.
Right?
He has undiagnosed or untreated fucking syphilis, whatever.
Neurosyphilis.
Dude is not okay.
I mean, the problem here again is the fact that this is what the mainstream media is focusing on. They're focusing on this shit instead of this quote unquote big beautiful bill or the Medicaid Massacre Act or the billionaire bailout budget.
The murder bill.
The murder bill.
I did. I will
Keep it simple.
The
I will
murder
go
bill.
back to our luncheon. The quote of the day was from Lieutenant Governor Garvin
stole that
Gilchrist,
from him,
who
yes.
said the MAGA murder bill.
The MAGA murder
The
bill.
MAGA murder bill.
Yeah,
It's
and that's
beautiful.
what we're going to refer to it, from now on. So the MAGA murder bill, they're trying to fucking pass this shit in the dead of night, right? If you've got a vote on the floor at 1 a.m., you're trying to hide some stuff, right? Nothing good happens after midnight.
Can I just say, I said to Gina this morning, we were talking, and it's like, you know what? It's not so much that it was done at 1 a.m. It was planned for 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's
I
on
get
purpose.
it. If you were debating all day, like if you're in Parliament or in Congress or whatever, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, oh shit, it's 1 a.m. Tomorrow is a holiday. We've got to get this shit done. I get it. But to plan it at 1 a.m., what the fuck shit is that? That is just so, it takes, transparency in government, no fucking way. Who's up at 1 a.m.? I know Gina is because
The
and
rest
you
of us
are.
with existential crises in our
I
minds.
tell you what my favorite part of the murder bill is.
Please.
Please do.
It's the tax cut, the $200 tax cut on silencers.
Oh yeah, because that's important. Because we want to make it easier for people to kill people quietly.
I'm just in my brain. I'm like, what? Why would you need a silencer if not to do crime? Like, I don't understand.
It's not for hunting? You need a
They're
silencer
not
to
for
hunt.
rifles. Like, I don't know, scaring deer.
People that are really fucking bad shots that they need an AR-15 to
Right.
hit a deer, a baby deer, Bambi, basically.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know. Are silencers on the ARs? I don't know.
I don't know because I'm not familiar with gun
No,
culture.
I don't know.
Norris is
isn't-
nodding his head yes.
Oh, I don't know why you know
That's
that,
what I
Norris, but
assumed
now
they
I'm
were for.
Guys know these things.
I'm a little more afraid of Norris now. That's okay though. All right. I mean, like, let's kind of break down the murder bill a little bit more. I know we talked about it last week. The Republicans, they can only afford to lose 3 votes if everyone's present and voting.
We wrote this right before Jerry died, so
shit.
they've got an extra one.
Rest
That's
in peace.
right.
And thoughts and
I'm sorry.
prayers.
Thoughts and prayers, rest in peace, Jerry. Oh no. Maybe this bill finally sent him over the edge.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit more about what's going on with this bill, because we obviously talked about Medicaid before, and there's huge cuts in there for Medicaid, which is a lifeline for pregnant women, children, disabled individuals, seniors.
Can I just point out, sorry, just before you go into the detail on this, just to tie it back to the ageism thing and the fact that everyone in fucking Congress, the average age, I don't know what it is. Actually, we should find that out, what the average age is. But
Let
I'm
me
pretty
ask
sure it's
Google.
definitely in the 70s. So can we point out that this bill, honestly, is to help old people get richer. And Medicaid, just to remind everybody, because I always get confused between Medicaid and Medicare, to be honest. Medicaid is basically the healthcare that helps people that
Low income.
people, right? So it's mostly children, disabled. It's
Right.
basically, it's not what Medicare is for seniors, right?
Right.
So it's funny to me that they're focusing on Medicaid and not Medicare and Social Security. Now, I know that they would like to focus on that, but it reminds me again that they're looking after old people.
They're looking after
because they're
themselves.
old rich people.
And old people vote.
Yeah.
Old folks like to vote. So Google has told me what the average age is of the folks in the House as well as the folks in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
So House Democrats in the 119th Congress, 58.
Not as bad.
House Republicans, 58. In the Senate, the median age of all Democrats is 66. And then the median age for Republicans is 65.
It's old. I mean, that's median, right? Like, think about it. That means that there's fucking 90-year-olds in there. If there's 30-year-olds, there's 90-year-olds.
That's right. That's the median.
Just
That's
how
the
math
middle.
works, people.
That's right.
Yeah.
But at the same time as all of that, they're actually giving this $5 trillion fucking debt, increase in debt to the future, to young people, so
Yes.
to your kids. So it probably won't affect me because I'm too old, but your kids are going to inherit this fucking debt. So also rich people billionaires can get another fucking yacht, and they're taking away fucking cancer treatment from kids. Anyway, Gina, go into the detail, please.
Well, God, I mean, it's basically the biggest wealth transfer in modern history is happening in this bill. We're cutting services to give tax cuts to the ultra wealthy. A tale as old as time in this country. But like you said, the benefits that are being cut disproportionately affect children and women. 75% of family planning is paid through by Medicaid. Okay, so we will now have pregnant women unable to see doctors.
But they'll get
right?
$5,000 from the government, Gina.
I don't think that's in the bill.
What? When am I getting $5,000?
You have to have a baby. We're going to
Trump's gonna-
reward you with
Oh, once
medals.
again.
You're going to get medals and $5,000.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was from that far right think tank that was trying to get the birth rate up. It's when they do shit like this, which is why people can't have more children because they can't afford it. And you're ripping away health care from the people who are actually currently pregnant. We're in a country where our maternal and fetal mortality rates are
The highest.
going up.
Yeah, the
One
highest
of
in
the
developed
highest in the
countries.
developed world.
Developed
Exactly.
countries.
Yeah.
And we're actively cutting services to help those people.
Yeah.
It's insane. We are paying more for healthcare and have the worst outcome.
Well,
So,
absolutely.
To summarize, basically, in terms of what we're doing for kids, the young people right now, we're literally giving them greater debt, making them sicker, right? So we're making them sicker. So their life going forward, they're more likely to be, to get sick. We're cutting regulation when it comes to the water they drink, the food they eat, the access to, any sort of like future healthcare is basically being torn away from them. And it's like so sad. I think it's tragic. And anyone that's not taking notice of this and thinking about it from the kids' perspective, and then we're turning around to those kids and saying, get out and vote. What the fuck for? You've literally just fucking pissed away my future. Right.
The planet's on fire. You can't guarantee I can go to school and be safe. You're passing bills where you can get $200 credits on fucking silencers.
So you can shoot me at school.
Right.
Sorry.
It's kind of crazy because we usually have MAGAs being like, these bills need to just be one thing per bill. There's 80 fucking million things in this bill, and it's
over 1,000 pages.
We are deregulating things. We are stripping back environmental protections. We're selling off our national parks and our federal lands. There is so much in this bill. It's insane.
Yeah, basically slashes of the bill slashes Medicaid, cuts renewable energy subsidies, guts social spending, and yet somehow it manages to increase the deficit by $5 trillion. Like, I think that's the summary, right? If you just want to put that on a fucking headline.
Doge this bill.
Yes.
There's things that just need to be fucking cut out of it.
I mean, the party of fiscal responsibility is at it again. It's funny I don't want to say it's funny because none of this is fucking funny. I mean, we try to be a little bit more of a lighthearted podcast. But, essentially it does kind of feel like with shit like this that we are living in a simulation of some kind, right? We're living in a fucking reality TV show. And I think nobody really shows that better than our favorite Trump secretary, Kristi Noemis. And she's introduced recently basically a fucking Hunger Games for like a Squid Games, like for fucking immigrants, right?
I like to refer to her as Secretary of Instagram Filters.
Oh my God.
What the fuck? What is that?
She's dumber than a bag of dicks, honestly. I can't even deal with her, honestly.
I know what your bag of dicks.
No,
like
she
to
literally is.
She's dumber than a bag of dicks.
She doesn't have the brain
Pick-me
power
girl.
to do her job. She's clearly unqualified.
She's a fucking pick-me girl.
She doesn't know anything about her job. I doubt she could pass a 6th grade civics test, honestly.
Well, clearly that's the case because she was recently in a hearing that she proved she didn't understand what habeas corpus is. And the Democrats literally had to define it for her and scolded her. Alyssa Slotkin, who sometimes we give a hard time on this podcast, I will give her props this week for making her fucking cry.
She made her cry.
She made her cry.
The whole, I watched the thing and like little Kristi's she was fighting the tears, fighting it back.
Can she even cry with all that Botox?
You would think that you can't.
It does
right?
definitely starts to affect your tear ducts and shit.
So I don't know. Props to Alyssa for literally telling her the fuck off, and
Right.
it's just.
I would like to see more of that, please.
Yeah.
And I think what's so interesting is when we posted about the Distill Social, when we posted about, I think we did it pretty quickly, about the Hunger Games, the game thing that allegedly Kristi Noemis they're putting together for immigrants. I had several friends of mine from outside of this country text me and say, Julie, this cannot be true. You need to check your information.
Okay.
And I'm quickly sent back links to, this is true.
Let me explain the game to
Please
our
do.
Australian fans.
Pat is
Because
interested, very interested.
first of all, I do want to say that Noam denies this. But however, her own people have said, yes, it's in the early works. So
Yeah.
as soon as this fucking lady, if her mouth is open, it's a lie coming out. But so this is the pitch, okay? 12 pre-vetted guests who are immigrants trying to get United States citizenship.
So I could apply for this.
Sure,
would
you
be
could.
eligible,
and you're
Julie.
white, so I bet they'd really give you preferential treatment.
Okay, so they fly all of these contestants to Ellis Island in New York City, and they board a citizenship, okay? All right, so, and they're looking for a good host for the show, preferably somebody who was non-American and got their citizenship the right way.
Okay.
So they are looking for like a Sofia Vergara, or they pitched like Canadian Ryan Reynolds. Like, yeah, you're going to get Ryan Reynolds to do this shit.
Because this was actually like a Canadian producer came up with this idea.
He's from Vancouver, I think. So they want these people out anyway. So fucking stupid. So then the contestants would travel from state to state aboard a train called the American, right, to learn about each region of the country and just pick up tips and history facts.
I like train travel. I like train travel. This is ticking all my boxes.
Isn't there a citizenship test?
I know they're not. I've been on them. They're not nice, but I like train travel.
This is a citizenship test. Don't we already do this for people? Like with a written test, it's a lot more efficient.
Well, we were going to put them on a train now, Adrian.
Okay. And we're going to have sponsors.
And we're also going to sell it to Jeff Bezos on Amazon Prime. So
That's
we're gonna
right.
This is how this.
You're getting ahead of yourself,
Okay.
Julie.
Oh my God.
She's not picking up.
The Home Depot is going to be one of the flagship sponsors.
So, well, maybe because they're going to be doing things like balancing logs in Wisconsin and logging territory.
You lost me there.
We could turn that lumber and sell it at Home
This
Depot.
is the Amazing Race.
And then,
is what this is.
Yeah, basically.
This is
and
the
then,
Amazing Race.
Like, we're going to take a train to Cape Canaveral and, like, learn about NASA and, like, space travel. And I'm sure Elon would just be randomly standing there talking about Starlink. But anyway, the winner wins citizenship, and the losers will go home with, like, a few, like, little, parting gifts.
So, like,
right?
the losers will get sent off to the South Sudan. Or some kind of like deportation center
They'll
in
get
El Salvador.
like a lifetime supply of like 76 gasoline or like a Starbucks gift card. I don't know. And then they're saying they'll give them like a leg up on like the traditional like process. Like, I don't know,
Jesus
put them to the front of the line or something. Whatever. So like Adrian said, this has all been pitched already, despite Kristi Noemis denying it. Like, the details are out there. You can't deny this idea isn't in like there's no conception for this. It's right here.
We did not make it up. We did not make this up.
No,
Not
this-
even us.
I don't think we could make this up.
No.
I do have to say I love a good reality show though, but I would find like a real like moral issue here.
Yeah. I've decided not to apply. It was the log rolling that
Yeah. If I have to chop any kind of wood or if there's any outdoor activities involved, I cannot get involved. Right. But that's basically the Amazing Race. And we're having kind of our own Amazing Race here in the Michigan legislature with how fucking horrible people's lives are. Considering that we've had a new ALICE report come out, and ALICE is the Asset Limited, Income Constrained, and Employed report. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about what's going on with that, Gina?
Okay. Not so great here in Michigan for the majority of us, apparently. So
Race to the bottom.
That's right. The report has revealed that 41% of Michigan households who work 40 hours a week, I want to make sure everyone understands, these are homes where people have full-time employment. They are still not making enough money to meet their basic needs, okay? Full-time workers not making enough money to meet their basic needs.
too much month at the end of your money, basically. So they're not able to meet their basic
Yeah,
needs.
they can't-
They're playing like, rent, food, medicine, pick two.
Right.
Right?
So, and I mean, of course, this is disproportionately hurts the same two groups it always does, right? Women, 75% of single female-led households, so single moms, are on this list, and it's 6 in 10 Black households. Okay, so this is what's happening in Michigan right now. Far too many of us can't meet our basic needs. And what the fuck is happening in the state legislature? How are they like working to make our lives better?
Do tell.
Let's just fucking get into this because everyone is fucking useless. This is not like one party versus the other. Like, you're all a fucking bunch of momos. And let me tell you why.
You all suck.
That's right, Ken Martin.
This is what I was talking about, Ken Martin. Okay, so like while this is going on, and it's only going to get worse because of the big beautiful bill and what's happening there.
The murder bill.
Right, the murder bill. What are we busy doing? Okay, so the House Republicans this week decided to spend their time passing a resolution to designate Harrison Township Boat Town, USA.
Okay.
I don't know where Harris. I didn't even fucking bother looking it up on the map. Is it next to a body of water? Even who the fuck knows?
But can I just ask before I laugh out loud? What does that mean? What does a designation what does that mean? Does it help the people in Harrison Township?
They get a fucking sign on the side of the road that says it, and that's about it.
So it doesn't help me put food on my table, get medicine. No.
But they get some pretty signs that the taxpayers are going to pay for.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Bragging rights? I don't know.
Even want to laugh at that because that's just so fucked up.
But it is on Lake St. Clair, and the Selfridge Air Force Space Museum is there.
By the way, we still haven't gotten that jet money. I'm just putting that out there.
Keep an eye on the fucking jet money.
He said it. I will fucking hold them all accountable.
Checks in the mail.
Like when your parents promise you a pony for Christmas, and then they hope to fuck that you've forgotten. Like they do that in January.
Children do not forget those things. They do not forget. There is no forgetting. All right, so what else? What have our Democrats been up to?
Okay, well, this is a bipartisan tomfoolery, okay?
These are my favorite.
So they have spent countless hours in the legislature coming up with two separate bills. There's one in the Senate and there's one in the House, okay? And they want to legislate cell phone usage in public schools.
Okay. Well, I mean,
because
that sounds
people don't
nice.
have enough money to put food on their table or pay their hospital bill. But let's do fucking something that school districts have already spent countless hours over the past few years trying to figure the fuck out. Cell phone usage in school.
Away for the day.
Literally every district has a policy for this right now.
Called away for the day. Like literally my kid who has a phone, she has a phone in case there's an emergency, in case there's a fucking school shooting and my kid needs to get a hold of me, right? So you're going to waste your time and effort on trying to police something that is already being done by the districts themselves that actually can't be enforced. What are you going to do? Arrest? Are you going to arrest kids for having phones?
This is my question, Adrian. It's like, okay, you have a school where, okay, the students aren't complying. What are you going to fucking do? You're going to not fund that school?
Yeah.
You're going to come in and put cops there? Like, I don't, it's
the point?
They
so
probably already got the
fucking
cops
stupid.
there. They put the cops there to protect. They want cops in schools to protect them from school shootings.
The Democratic senator who spent all her fucking time on this stupid goddamn bill is a Democrat named Dana Polehanki, who has also voted down raising fair wages while writing on Facebook that she voted to raise them. These fucking people are really stupid and useless. I'm fucking sick of it, okay?
I think, yes, Gina is done. She's
done.
fucking done.
Like we just said, every district has a policy already. You don't need to do this. It's not enforceable, and it's a waste of fucking time.
Can we say, is this performative?
Yes.
Yes.
That is literally... Reminder, we pay for each of these people to do their jobs.
Yes.
We vote them in to represent us in some way, shape or form.
Yes.
This is performative.
Yeah.
This is not helpful.
This
but
is,
you
look
know
at
what
me,
will
I'm
be happening
bipartisan.
out there? Let me tell you, they will be going back and saying, this is what at their little coffee hours, this is what I've done this week or this quarter.
Everybody's going to be happy clapping.
Exactly,
for
because
them.
all the people there are going to be old people that won't know that this is already happening in school districts. So this is just performative so they can go back and feel like they're not going to rock the boat. Because if they were to go back and tell the old people at their coffee hours, the 80-year-olds sitting there, that they'd got rid of sub-minimum wage and therefore whatever they would say about that would feel uncomfortable to them. But for some reason they feel okay going back and sharing this performative art. Basically.
And we've got 41% of our population here in Michigan that can't make and meet their basic needs every single month. So maybe stop worrying about shit that doesn't actually fucking matter and worry about how people are going to get food on the table.
Yeah.
What are you going to do if these Medicaid cuts actually come through with this bill?
Let's discuss that.
Okay.
What are we going to do? Because, let me backtrack real quick and say a Republican in the House has also written a stupid fucking cell phone bill for schools. But we also have a House Democrat who has written basically a Michigan Medicaid bill that we should be fucking talking about right now, because 1 million kids in Michigan are about to lose some kind of coverage, and we actually have a solution written out already. And why won't anyone talk about it, bring it up?
Who's written that bill, Gina?
Carrie Reingans.
We like to clap and slap.
Yes.
Well done. Clap, clap,
Right.
clap, snap, snap, snap.
Right.
Yeah, that needs to be done right now. They should be seeing what's coming down the pipe in terms of from DC, because remember that's the game that everyone's focusing on, because that's a reality TV show. What we need is our legislators here in Lansing and Michigan basically preparing us for that. We need to be doing prepping.
Yeah.
They literally need to be prepping so that Whitmer, all of them need to be prepping so that when this shit happens, we are protected.
Right.
They are our first line. They have the budget here in Michigan. They have the capacity to write bills and legislation that's going to be able to protect us.
Yeah.
And all the things that we stand for.
Proactive instead of reactive people.
I just want to say, if anyone out there knows of something happening to cover our asses when this big, beautiful murder bill comes down, please come in our DMs and tell us what the preparations are and how any Michigan legislator is out there trying to get in front of this and protect their constituents. Like
we will shout you out.
If it's being done, I want to know and I want to talk about it.
Absolutely.
So.
And I mean, we do want to definitely plug the people who are doing the good things. We want to do our thanks and spanks, right?
Yeah.
We want to thank the folks in platform, the folks that are doing the good things. Absolutely. Because if we know anything, we have a huge election coming up here in 2026 next year. We're looking at like 18 months from now, right? And right now, from where I sit, I'm very concerned that we are going to keep the House is going to stay Republican. We're going to lose the Senate and we're going to lose the top of the ticket with these fucking shenanigans that are still going on, right? And right now, we know that there's this like the Michigan for the many shit that's kind of happening. The DeVos family, which is big here in Michigan, huge, big time Republican donors. Betsy DeVos was the former Secretary of Education under the first Trump administration. They're crawling out from under their rock and they're trying to buy more power.
Yeah, it's so I want to back you up and talk about Michigan for the many is the solution to the problem, to the DeVos problem that is basically what is happening here is we're going to watch oligarchy in action, okay? The DeVos family is putting together a new PAC to buy our 2026 election. And we are going to start seeing some ballot petitions under this umbrella of Michigan for the Many. One of them is trying to get this type of dark money out of Lansing so we can stop having our elections being, bought by people that should be in an episode with Scrooge McDuck.
Sliding down his coin mountain.
Yeah, I mean, so see good old Betsy up there just swimming in it.
Yeah.
Her husband in a little golden plane flying over.
Perfect cartoon. So basically, Michigan for the Many and these ballot petitions is our way of prepping. We have to prep. But that's us doing it as people,
yes,
right?
It's us saving ourselves.
We're saving ourselves because, as I have said, anyone that follows or knows the other stuff that we do, I talk about all the time. No one is going to fucking save us.
Right.
We have to save ourselves. Ballot petitions is one of the best tools that we have in our toolkit to be able to do that as a state.
Yes, as people.
As people in this state. It's the reminder that's the way that we saved reproductive rights back in 2022. Every legislature out there, and I'm looking at you folks, or a lot of them turn around and said, oh, we did this. No, the fuck you didn't. We did that.
That's right.
The people in Michigan did that. We collected hundreds of thousands of signatures. We spoke to all of our friends, neighbors, colleagues, everybody to make that thing happen. You helped us in the legislature after we had done that. Mm-hmm. So ballot petitions, sorry, I'm raving on about it, but it's such an important thing for us to remember. We can protest, we can moan, we can groan, we can bitch, we can do whatever we like, we can turn the TV off, we can, punch the wall. The most effective thing we can do in terms of prepping for what's coming down the pike right now is basically these ballot petitions to get us ready, to protect each other and ourselves.
And I will say about that too, though, like there are ballot petitions on the other side as well.
Oh, they're shitty.
Always decline to sign if you don't know what you're signing because they use really underhanded tactics.
They lie.
They lie. They legitimately lie. And we know that there's one in particular that's coming down that's going to severely curtail people's voting rights. So just, know what you're signing and, get involved in that way. Be able to send out a petition yourself and circulate.
I'm going to flag, follow Distill Social.
Yes.
And Point of Disorder, we're going to be sharing details on all of these ballot petitions. every time. We did it in 2022. We do it every time. We basically tell you what is good, what is bad, because these things are deceitful as well. They put bullshit and they talk bullshit when they go and promote some of these ballot petitions.
Oh, just follow our TikToks.
Yeah.
We fuck with them. I'm just going to say, when we find these people asking for signatures on the side of the street, we know exactly what they're fucking doing, and we have a good time at their expense. And we will continue to do that. I just think it's funny how, like, DeVos, like, she brought a bunch of washed up losers out of, do you remember Shane Hernandez?
I do, yeah.
The little guy.
The little dude.
Who
Oh
was
my
gonna,
God. Yeah,
who
I
was going to
do.
run with Tudor Dixon.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah, he was going to be her LG.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So he
loved us, by the way.
He did. He was a
He
big
had a
fan of
mini
yours.
crush, yeah.
He loved you, Julie.
I know, yeah.
It's the accent.
He's going to be leading that charge, and Ronna McDaniel, who was so fucking done with these people last year at Mackinac, she didn't even bother going. We had a friend who was in. There was a U of M game on that weekend, and she was in the box with some of our friends who were sending us photos of her. So that was kind of funny. But she's back in the fold. You know, I guess she wants to buy a new house
I was going to
somewhere.
say, ran out of cash, needs another fucking super yacht. Who knows? Pricks.
Well, either way, so the DeVos family and their milquetoast asses are crawling out of the shadows. Speaking of milquetoast, we're
So much of that going around.
so much of it, right? So who's going to be the safest white boy, essentially anointed the Democratic nominee for 2028?
Okay, let me just back you up.
Okay.
Safest white boy is Jasmine Crockett. That was her, like, I put it in the notes, but, like, that was literally her line from an interview where people were asking her, like, how do we solve this problem? How do we save the Democratic Party? And she was literally like, they're going to run the safest white boy in 2028.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who do you pick for safest white boy? Because I know who it is. She didn't name names, but like
I mean, it's going to be Pete Buttigieg, right? Like, no, not Pete. Okay.
Julie.
Oh, shit, I don't know. Oh, it'd be like Josh Shapiro or someone like
From fucking Pennsylvania.
No.
Tim Walz.
Okay, who is it, Gina?
Okay.
Gavin Newsom.
Oh,
God
please,
damn it.
no. These windows open. Don't do that to me.
This is the first floor, okay?
Oh, now you're killing it. Oh, that was going to be so dramatic.
Oh, they're going to pick Big Gretch bestie Andy Bashir.
Oh, okay.
I was at a restaurant and he was at the next table in Kentucky just after he won the last election.
Because Julie likes really nice food, which is why her stomach's so bougie and she can't handle 1,000-plate catered lunches anymore.
That chicken was sitting there for a day and a half. I'm just saying, that was from another event.
Was it gray? What was the
Is it not
color?
supposed to be gray?
No. Don't eat the food. You always bring snacks.
No, but so you saw Andy and
his family. Yeah, seemed like a nice
Safe-
guy.
safe
white
white
guy.
boy.
Safe white
From
guy.
Kentucky. Like there's a lot to be said for that, and I don't want to be rude, but look, I feel like at least he's not 80.
I mean, is that the bar?
I
That's
love
the
Julie's
fucking bar.
bright side. At least he's not 80.
At least that's the bar that we're at, though, which is
I've
ridiculous.
got kind of used to having a haircut, taking a haircut, not a beheading. Since I've been here, it's like, oh, what's the best of the worst?
Okay, if you could have any safe white guy, though, who would it be?
Hugh Jackman.
He wasn't born here.
I do have he's not eligible, but I do have a little crush on him. When Julie was in her container ships during
During the pandemic.
during the
Australia.
pandemic and quarantine, I was sending her Hugh Jackman thirst traps. But, who's your safe white dude?
I'm gonna pick Will Ferrell. He's like totally feminist, and he thinks that women should also be running things. So I think he'd get elected, and then he'd step down and appoint a woman.
Okay,
I'm gonna go with Will Ferrell.
I can kind of get behind Will Ferrell.
I need a little humor. I need
Yeah.
I need a goofy white guy.
Who's yours, Gina? Because it's very hard for me to pick because they all I feel like I'm sacrificing something with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it is like.
How about no
haircut.
safe white boys?
My dad is like a very safe white boy, but he's way too old. So I would say Pedro Pascal.
Oh, but wait, is he from here?
No, but he's a citizen.
But you have to be born here.
Oh, fuck.
At
Oh, Hugh
35.
Jackman.
Can we not
Citizen?
find a
No, we
safe
got none.
American white
Has
boy
to be
other than
born
Will
here.
Ferrell?
They've all been red pilled. It's terrible. Except for
Eminem.
Will
So
Ferrell.
we-
Eminem.
Yeah.
Eminem.
go with that.
Run for office,
You
Eminem.
wouldn't say much. That'd be good too.
Yeah.
Like,
Just need
quiet.
to drop a few raps every now and again. I don't know.
Yeah,
Get a couple
so that would
rhymes
be-
going.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I don't know. This is fucking hard.
It would really make the
is
State of the
difficult.
Union more interesting. That's for
God.
sure. Oh
Bruce
my God.
Springsteen, I don't know.
Okay. Oh,
He's
I mean,
old.
he's old
He
too.
is
He's
old.
almost 80.
Okay.
He's like 75, which makes him younger than Trump.
Jesus, now
That's the bar?
No.
Just under 75.
Just scrape it.
Oh, okay. So,
Scrape
you
that
know,
bottom of the barrel.
last thing for us to talk about in our reality show here today, we got Representative Nancy Mays, who had shared naked photos of herself. Okay, I need more context of this as I'm reading. Okay. I'm reading this note. She shares naked photos of herself. Okay.
Can I just say this is about? I'm going to give a clap right now because this is actually behind all of this. Before we get to the fun portion of it, is Trump did sign the Take It Down Act this week, which it makes it a federal crime to share someone's intimate photos without their consent.
Including like deep fakes where you put
Deepfakes,
somebody's
yeah,
head
exactly.
on a porn star body.
Like
or
an
something.
AI generated.
And I'm like, about time.
I
mean,
run over
really
to AI
is.
to generate my body on my head on a porn
Yes.
star's
Well,
The
body.
fact of the matter is, it happens to Melania like constantly.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's why he's interested
Right.
in doing it. But how did Nancy Mace get involved, Gina? Please tell us. Like, this started off good, and then we ended up with fucking Nancy Mace. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, we're off the rails now. So there was a hearing for this bill.
Is that where she showed the naked pictures of
Yes.
herself? Like she actually
She did?
showed them in a hearing?
It was a video. It wasn't photos. So
That's
first
almost
of all,
worse.
she fucking hates her ex, and she's trying to like bury
doesn't?
him. So she was showing like videos like he allegedly took of her, and there she is naked. I mean, it was blurry, but like she's showing this in front of, you know, all of the lawmakers and everyone in the gallery as a way to urge lawmakers to support the legislation, which is great. But she was just, it was total self-promotion. Like, it was just like, look at me. Literally, it was like, look at me.
But who here hasn't done a naked pic? And we had the conversation before we started today, and Adrian admitted that she had.
Yes, I've sent suggestive photos. We'll just say suggestive. Okay, I don't appreciate Norris laughing at me right now, but I have sent suggestive photos without my head. So someone could slap my head back on it. I mean, I would much prefer you to put my head on a much better body, right? Like if that's what you're gonna do. If you're gonna show me looking good, okay? Except you can't because it's illegal now.
That's right.
Can't do that.
No, well, you can do it as long as you get consent.
Right.
which
Well, I
is
mean,
fair
you're
enough,
not,
right?
it's also already been illegal for you to pass along nude photos of someone without their consent.
Yeah.
This was already against the law. This isn't anything kind of new.
No, it's not. I guess it's just
the AI portion.
I
of
guess
it
it's
is
just
probably-
adding the new technology
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I never have done sent pictures or videos. What about you, Julie?
Well, I pointed out the fact that when I was of the age where I may have been doing that, there was not digital. I would have had to have gone to the camera shop. And
It's never
printed
too
it
late.
out.
It's never too late. You
Or
can start now.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone wants to see that. But or as Gina pointed out, put your boobs on a photocopier. And I said, photocopiers? When I was a kid, they were the old stencil things that went round and around. And you
And they
would
had the
stain
odor.
and the smell. Oh, it was so good. So good. Any cancer
Getting a
I will get will be
contact
from
eye.
those years of going and saying, oh, I'll do the newsletter this week, Mr. Brown. And
I
doing
feel
that.
like this wasn't really a big thing until like the Kim Kardashian sex
Yeah.
tape, and that really put all this out there where people became honestly like less. I don't know what the right word is, but people saw like her like basically become a billionaire off of a sex
Yeah.
tape, and And people were less bashful after that.
It's like, maybe I'll become a billionaire. Another new economic opportunity.
I just want to point out, in terms of sex tapes, people were doing them back on the old Beta and VHS videos. They just kept it for themselves. They weren't putting it on
There was
the
no
internet,
internet.
right?
Yes.
That was just for your own personal use. I just want to point that out from,
And then
I've
your kid
got-
pops in the wrong tape into the VHS recorder.
So,
but okay.
Okay, Kim Kardashian, she has that line of Spanx, which is, those garments that are supposed to hold you in. Well, Adrienne, she just made a new Spanx where it's like, or hers is Skims, not Spanx. She just made a new one, right, where it goes over your bosoms and it gives you there's like a nipple sticking out. And
So it's literally not hiding your nipples.
no,
It's giving you fake nipples.
It's adding to the nip, and they've added a piercing to it. So now you walk around, and you're showing pierced nipples to the world.
really?
Yes,
And you
You
wear
don't
that
even-
on your outer, so it's not like a Spanx.
No,
where you
it
wear
goes
on
like,
the
I think it
inner.
goes
it
underneath.
goes under
Oh,
a very
you're
light
underneath.
T-shirt
Oh,
to
right.
give the appearance of what's going on underneath.
It's a lot more affordable than having your own fluffer.
and a lot less painful
And a
than
lot less
actually
painful.
piercing the
Hadn't
nip.
thought about any
Right?
of this. Thank you so much for sharing. I learned so much. I hope
think
that Pat is enjoying this.
I hope you are enjoying this, Pat. And I hope everyone out there has learned some new things today as well. We aim to be educational.
What's going to bring you joy this week, Adrienne?
I
This is my
want more
favorite
thirst trap videos. Keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
Yeah, keep them coming. I depend on Gina for all my TikToks.
one. What's
what I'm
going to
gonna
bring
do.
you joy this week, Gina?
Gosh, I don't know. I might have to go to the store and see these nipple piercing Skims and just post it on our Instagram stories for fun. I don't know. Doing weird shit like that brings me joy.
I think that's a good idea. Just like randomly put it there and see if anybody like interacts.
I'm
And
gonna
then send them
tag
to the pod.
Adrienne in it.
Tag me. That's great. And the thought of nipple piercings too just makes me go, oh, I can't. What is going to bring you joy this week?
Oh, I'm still prepping for Broke Girl Summer.
Okay.
So I'm like just setting up my bathroom into a spa, right? So I've actually, I can't, the spa, going to the spa is off the austerity measures have restricted that. So I've turned my bathroom into a spa. So I find myself showering more and just spending more time in my bathroom. So that's what I'm doing.
With the
I'm
door
prepping
locked, you're not crying. You were.
No. I'm in there
You're
with my
spritzing.
music going,
Yes.
the
You're
candles,
moisturizing.
the moisturizing.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying a bit of
I want to point
bathroom
out
time.
that Julie's austerity measures involve her buying more shit.
Prep for the
Less,
austerity
less
measures.
groceries, more random shit for the bathroom.
Hey, I'm taking that from America. We cut people's health care and we buy more bombs and shit.
That's right. I don't
And
care about
give
my credit
billionaires
score.
and give billionaires new yachts.
Right.
Isn't that exactly
I feel
the same?
like
Yeah.
we should give you an honorary citizenship for that.
Thank you very much. So I
You're
don't have to
doing
go on
so
that show.
great. You're doing so great. Well, we hope everyone out there can find a little bit of joy in all this fucking chaos over the next week or so.
Yes.
And it's been a pleasure talking with you ladies today.
Don't forget the other thing that brings all three of us joy is when you guys leave really nice comments on our pod and share it with your friends and subscribe and do all those cool things, because we do see when our subscriber numbers go up. We do get an alert when we get a new comment, and it makes us smile. So thank
Yes.
you and keep it up.
Keep up the good work. And we'll see you next Thursday.
Ciao.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Point of Disorder. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who listened today. And if you like us, give us a like, a subscribe, or a review on any place you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Distill Social and at The Guerrilla Politic. This is the Point of Disorder podcast, signing off. Stay sharp, stay progressive, and above all, stay tuned.